In today's video, we are going to talk about electric collars for dogs, sometimes known as a shock collar or e-collar. If you have ever been advised to use one, keep watching to know how it can seriously damage your dog's physical and emotional well-being. The first thing you need to ask yourself is how you want to establish your dog's education, on obligation and punishment, or trust and reward. There are several justifications given for using this type of collar, one of them being their effectiveness. But so far, there are few studies using both fieldwork and surveys to prove it is more effective than positive reinforcement. Positive reinforcement is seen as a much more effective method for successful dog training. One of the main problems with so-called shock collars is that it is very difficult to determine the right moment to apply punishment and what intensity of shock they should use. It is always recommended that, when in doubt, if you don't know the right moment to punish, you shouldn't punish at all. With this type of electrical punishment, it's very hard to know the right time to use it. We can seriously worsen the situation as applying it at the wrong time means dogs will begin to make negative associations with the wrong people or circumstances. In terms of health and well-being, studies show these collars to increase stress levels, thereby harming the animal's welfare. If we look at the 5 freedoms of animal welfare, we can see that one is to never cause undue pain and suffering to the animal. The power and force of these collars depends on the manufacturer, but also depending on the individual dog. The type and length of their coat has a bearing, with thinner coats and the tightness of the collar making it difficult to really control the effect it will have on the dog. How do we really know how much power is an adequate amount and how much is excessive? Although we may use excessive shocks, our animals' desire to show us appeasement might cause them to not show much sign of pain. This means there may be physical damage we are not even aware of. In order for the shock to be transmitted, the metal spikes of the collar must be tightly fastened to the animal's neck so that both the electric shock and the pressure against the skin can cause tissue damage. When you educate your dog with a collar, they will try to show you signs of appeasement to stop you from using the shock and hurting them. Continued use means they see you as ignoring these signs and eventually lead to the dog not using them at all. They can be replaced with signs of aggression, especially as the intensity of the shock increases. This is completely counterproductive to the purpose of training your dog in the first place. If you have spoken to a professional about how to train your dog and they have recommended using a shock collar, then you should know it is not recommended and it might be best to find a new educator. Many people use this type of collar as anti-barking methods, but you need to ask yourself, why does your dog bark? Barking is part of their communication and they are trying to tell you something. To stop it, you need to address the problem they are raising. Electric collars are not the best way to train and educate your dog. Training based on positive reinforcement has shown better efficacy, especially in the long term, and is better for the physical and emotional health of your dog.